The baby is yours. Don't ask me again, my wife snapped at me. All right, I believe you, I said, looking her straight in the eye. But I didn't believe her at all. I quietly got a DNA test done and sent every result straight to her parents, her siblings, everyone in her family. Now my phone is exploding with calls from all of them, desperate to speak with me. I'm 35 years old, sitting here alone, trying to figure out how I was stupid enough to miss every single warning sign staring me in the face. My wife Jennifer is 31 and we've been married for 4 years. She gave birth to our daughter Lily 5 months ago. But maybe Lily isn't ours after all. Let me explain better. Jennifer and I had been trying to get pregnant for about a year when she finally conceived. I was over the moon. We both were, or at least that's what I thought. Everything seemed normal during the pregnancy. Regular doctor's appointments, baby shopping, preparing the nursery. But looking back now, there were things that didn't make sense. Jennifer had always been social, but during the pregnancy she became secretive about her phone. She started taking calls in other rooms. She would quickly close apps when I walked by. She said it was just pregnancy forums and baby planning stuff. She also started working late more often. Her job in human resources doesn't usually require overtime, but suddenly she had evening meetings and weekend training sessions. She always had reasonable explanations when I asked. The biggest red flag should have been her reaction when Lily was born. I expected tears of joy, that emotional moment you see in movies. Instead, Jennifer seemed almost nervous, kept giving me looks like she was waiting for something. Lily came out with features that seemed unusual. Not dramatically different, but both Jennifer and I have lighter skin tones, and Lily's skin tone was noticeably darker. When I mentioned this to Jennifer, she got defensive. Told me that babies often change a lot in the first year, which is true, but there was also the issue of timing. Jennifer claimed her last period was in early March, which would place conception around mid-March. But Lily was born in early November, supposedly at 36 weeks. The calculations didn't match up very well, unless conception occurred before Jennifer claimed. When I mentioned this to Jennifer, she snapped at me. The baby is yours. Stop asking questions. That phrase stuck in my head. Who says that to their husband about their own child? I told her I believed her completely and dropped the subject. But privately, I started paying more attention. Over the next few months, Lily's features became more defined. Her skin tone remained darker than ours. She started developing facial characteristics that really didn't remind me of Jennifer or myself. More concerning were Jennifer's ongoing phone habits. Still secretive, still taking calls privately. One evening, I heard her speaking quietly in the kitchen, catching fragments like, "He doesn't suspect anything, and we have to be more careful." When she came back to the living room, I asked who she was talking to. She said it was her sister discussing baby stuff. But her sister lives in Arizona and it was past midnight there. 2 weeks ago, something happened that made everything click into place. Jennifer left her phone on the coffee table when she went to shower. It buzzed with a text message and the preview appeared on the lock screen. The message was from someone named Tyler. "Missing you and our little girl. Can't wait to see you both again. Our little girl." I didn't touch the phone, but that message burned into my mind. Jennifer had mentioned she was planning to visit her mother this weekend with Lily. She said I should stay home and catch up on work since I'd been working overtime. That night, I made a decision. I needed to know the truth. Since I'm legally Lily's father as her mother's husband, I could authorize medical examination. I scheduled a routine pediatric appointment for Lily and requested a paternity test as part of standard blood work. I told the pediatrician I had concerns about genetic health issues and wanted to verify biological relationship for medical records. The doctor was understanding. These requests aren't uncommon apparently. The results would take 3 to 4 weeks. Meanwhile, I started paying closer attention to Jennifer's schedule. The weekend visit to her mother turned into bi-weekly visits. Always just her and Lily. Supposedly I was always too busy to come. I started noticing patterns. Jennifer would receive messages that made her smile in ways I hadn't seen her do in months. She would disappear for hours on Saturday afternoons claiming she was running errands, coming back in a good mood with very few actual purchases. 4 weeks later, the DNA results arrived. 0% probability of paternity. I stared at that paper for probably an hour. Everything made sense now. The secretive behavior, the defensive reactions, timing issues, the weekend visits. Lily wasn't my daughter. Jennifer had been cheating and got pregnant by someone else. But instead of confronting Jennifer immediately, I did something else first. I got Jennifer's address book from her desk drawer and made copies of the DNA test results. Many copies. Then I prepared correspondence for her immediate family. Her parents, her 2 sisters, her brother. I'd met them several times and had their addresses from Christmas cards and wedding invitations over the years. I wrote a simple cover letter. I thought you should know the truth about Lily's paternity. DNA test results are attached. Jennifer has been lying to everyone, including me. I'm filing for divorce and will not be taking financial responsibility for another man's child. Everything mailed on Thursday by regular mail. Most people would receive it on Saturday. Then I waited. Saturday afternoon my phone started ringing. First it was Jennifer's mother, then her sister, then her father. I didn't answer any of them. Jennifer was at her mother's house for another weekend visit. Around 6 in the evening she called me frantically. What did you do? My family is calling me asking about DNA tests. What's going on? I told her calmly that I simply shared some important medical information with people who deserved to know the truth. You had no right to involve my family in our private business. Our private business? Jennifer, you've been lying to me and everyone else for months. Lily isn't my daughter. Your family has been celebrating the arrival of a grandchild that has no relation to me. We can work this out. We can go to therapy. You don't need to destroy everything over this. I'm not destroying anything, Jennifer. I'm simply not living a lie anymore. She hung up on me. 20 minutes later, her mother called. I answered this time. Jennifer's mother was upset and asked me not to do anything rash. She said families go through difficult times and this could be worked out. She asked me to think about Lily, who was innocent in all this. I told her she was right, that Lily was innocent. That's exactly why I wasn't going to pretend to be her father and then leave later when the truth came out anyway. But what about Jennifer? She made a mistake, but she loves you. She loves the security I provide. There's a difference. Sunday, the calls from other family members continued. Jennifer's father demanding explanations. Her sister trying to mediate. Her brother actually supporting my decision, saying he suspected something was wrong with the timing. Jennifer came home on Sunday night. Lily wasn't with her. She'd left her at her mother's house. We talked for hours. Jennifer finally admitted the affair with Tyler, a guy she met at a work conference about 18 months ago. She claimed she tried to end it several times, but he kept pursuing her. She insisted she was planning to break things off permanently after Lily's birth and was going to tell Tyler that Lily was mine and cut off all contact. How long were you planning to lie to me about this? I was hoping maybe you'd never need to know. Lily could have looked like either of us as she got older. You were going to let me raise another man's child for 18 years? I thought it would be better for everyone. You wanted a baby. Lily needed a stable father figure. Tyler isn't ready for that kind of responsibility. So you decided to trick me into providing what Tyler couldn't? She didn't have a good answer for that. Monday morning, I consulted a divorce lawyer. Tuesday, I filed papers. Since Lily wasn't biologically mine and I had DNA proof, I wouldn't be responsible for child support. Jennifer would need to establish paternity with Tyler for financial support. Wednesday, Jennifer's workplace situation got complicated. A coworker had heard about our separation and asked if it was related to rumors about paternity issues. Jennifer needed to meet with her supervisor to address the gossip affecting her work environment. Thursday, the news was spreading in our social circle. Jennifer's family members had shared details with their close friends. In a community where many people know each other, news travels fast. Friday, Tyler contacted me, sent me a message through Facebook Messenger. He said Jennifer had told him about the DNA test and he wanted to discuss Lily's future. He asked if we could meet to work out some kind of agreement. I responded that I had no relationship with Lily and wouldn't be involved in any arrangements. He was Lily's father and Jennifer was Lily's mother. They could figure out their own situation. Tyler argued that Lily had been living with me for 5 months and sudden changes would be traumatic for her. I pointed out that Lily was 5 months old and wouldn't remember any of this. The longer the deception continued, the more traumatic it would become. Jennifer spent the weekend trying to deal with the fallout with her family and figure out next steps with Tyler. Update 1. 6 weeks after I sent the DNA results, and the consequences continue expanding. Jennifer's affair created complications she clearly hadn't anticipated. The family situation remained tense. Jennifer's parents were divided on how to handle things. Her mother wanted to support Jennifer during the crisis. Her father was angry about having been deceived and embarrassed about having been bragging about his granddaughter to friends and co-workers. Jennifer's sisters took different approaches. One blamed me for being relentless and not trying harder to save the marriage. The other thought Jennifer had brought all this on herself and needed to face reality. The social consequences affected Jennifer more than expected. Several mutual friends felt deceived and angry. They had given baby gifts, attended the baby shower, celebrated Lily's birth, while Jennifer was actively lying about Lily's paternity. Some of our couple friends felt uncomfortable maintaining relationships with both of us separately. They had to choose sides for social gatherings, which created awkward dynamics. Jennifer's workplace environment became strained. While her personal life didn't directly affect her work performance, the ongoing drama and family phone calls during work hours were disruptive. Her supervisor suggested she take some time off to sort out her situation. Tyler's involvement proved complicated. When the affair was secret, he was excited about having a relationship with Jennifer and seeing Lily occasionally. But when he became legally responsible as Lily's biological father, his enthusiasm dimmed. Tyler lived in an apartment with a roommate and had limited experience with babies. His lifestyle wasn't set up for regular childcare responsibilities. He'd agreed to informal financial support, but balked when Jennifer mentioned formal child support agreements. Jennifer discovered that Tyler as a secret boyfriend was very different from Tyler as a co-parent and financial provider. He'd been charming and attentive when their relationship was an escape from reality, but actual parenting responsibilities weren't nearly as exciting. 3 weeks ago, Jennifer attempted to negotiate a reconciliation. She suggested we could work through the trust issues and I could still be involved in Lily's life as a stepfather figure. I explained I wasn't interested in raising another man's child, especially when the mother had lied about paternity from conception through birth and beyond. But you cared about Lily before you knew the truth. Those feelings don't just disappear. Those feelings were based on lies, Jennifer. Every moment of connection I felt was built on the deception you deliberately created. What about Lily's well-being? She needs stability. Lily's well-being is Tyler's responsibility now. He's her father. Jennifer argued that Tyler wasn't reliable enough to provide the stability Lily needed. I pointed out that was a problem Jennifer needed to solve. She had chosen Tyler as Lily's father when she chose to have an affair with him. 2 weeks ago, the divorce proceedings continued. My lawyer filed for judicial disestablishment of paternity along with the divorce papers. The DNA test results supported removing my name from Lily's birth certificate and eliminating any ongoing parental obligations. Jennifer's lawyer tried to argue for spousal support based on the length of our marriage. My lawyer argued the marriage had been based on fraud and deception, particularly regarding the pregnancy that motivated many of our joint financial decisions. The court scheduled hearings for next month. Jennifer would need to establish formal paternity acknowledgement with Tyler and arrange child support through the state system. Jennifer's financial situation became precarious. She'd been planning to take extended maternity leave, counting on my income. Now she was facing single motherhood on her HR salary with uncertain support from Tyler. She had to find childcare for Lily and return to full-time work earlier than planned. Her mother helped temporarily but made clear this wasn't a permanent arrangement. Last week, Jennifer sent me a long email apologizing for everything and asking if there was any way to save our relationship. She claimed the affair was the biggest mistake of her life and she would do anything to make things right. My response was brief. The mistake wasn't the affair, Jennifer. The mistake was lying about Lily's paternity and trying to trick me into raising another man's child. That's not something you can apologize away. She wrote back asking what happened to forgiveness and second chances. I explained that some betrayals are too fundamental to forgive. Lying about a child's paternity falls into that category. Friday, Tyler had to officially acknowledge paternity and establish a support arrangement. The amount was based on his income and existing obligations, which left Jennifer with less financial help than she'd hoped. Jennifer's new reality was settling in. Single motherhood, reduced income, an unreliable co-parent, and social isolation stemming from the deception she'd been maintaining for months. Meanwhile, my life was becoming simpler and more peaceful. No more doubts about mysterious phone calls or unexplained schedule changes. No more analyzing whether they were telling me the truth about basic facts. The divorce would be final in a few weeks, and then I could move forward completely without any connection to Jennifer's choices or their consequences. Update 2. 4 months later. 4 months since those DNA results came out and the full scope of consequences has become clear. Jennifer's situation continues deteriorating. While Tyler proves exactly as unreliable as expected, Tyler's co-parenting arrangement became a disaster. His initial enthusiasm about involvement in Lily's life dissipated rapidly when confronted with the reality of parenting responsibilities. His visits became irregular and his financial contributions frequently arrived late. Jennifer tried enforcing the formal support agreement, but Tyler argued his income was unstable and he couldn't guarantee regular payments. The state child support system proved slow and bureaucratic in handling uncooperative parents. Tyler also started bringing complications from his own life into the situation. He had a complicated relationship history and his ex-girlfriend wasn't happy about his new baby with a married woman. This created drama that affected his availability and willingness to be involved with Lily. Jennifer discovered that dating as a single mother with a baby from an affair was significantly more challenging than she'd anticipated. Most potential partners weren't interested in immediately taking on a complicated situation involving deception and an unreliable biological father. Her social circle remained limited. The initial scandal created permanent divisions among mutual friends. Some people forgave her, others didn't, but everyone remembered the deception. Jennifer's family relationships stabilized in some ways but remained tense. Her parents provided minimal support but made clear they disapproved of the choices that created the situation. Family gatherings during the holidays were awkward and conversations avoided topics related to Lily's paternity. The financial pressures intensified over time. Lily's expenses increased while Tyler's support continued being unreliable. Jennifer had to move to a smaller apartment and take on additional freelance work to supplement her income. Her career advancement stalled. The personal drama and time conflicts from single motherhood affected her work performance. She remained employed but was passed over for promotions and excluded from high-visibility projects. 2 months ago, Jennifer made one last attempt to contact me. She sent a message through a mutual friend asking if I would consider having a meeting to discuss Lily's future. The mutual friend reported that Jennifer was struggling with depression and isolation. Single motherhood had been much harder than she expected, and Tyler's involvement continued to decline. I declined the meeting request, explaining that Lily's future was Jennifer and Tyler's responsibility to determine. I had no role in her situation and no interest in being dragged back into their problems. The friend suggested that Lily was an innocent consideration and deserved support regardless of how she was conceived. I agreed. Lily was innocent. Which was exactly why she deserved to have her real father take responsibility, not be raised by someone who'd been deceived about her origin. Last month, the divorce was finalized. All legal relationships between Jennifer and me were severed. The paternity disestablishment was approved and my name was removed from Lily's birth certificate. Tyler was officially established as Lily's legal father with formal support obligations. However, his actual compliance with those obligations remained inconsistent. 3 weeks ago, I ran into Jennifer at a local store. She was struggling with Lily, who was crying while Jennifer tried to manage grocery shopping and baby supplies. She looked exhausted and overwhelmed. She saw me and quickly looked away. No attempt at conversation or acknowledgement. She probably didn't want to face another reminder of the price her choices had cost her. I felt no compassion watching her struggle. Jennifer had created the situation through deliberate deception and manipulation. The difficulties she was experiencing were natural consequences of her own decisions. My life had moved forward positively. The house was peaceful. My finances were stable and I was exploring new relationships without the weight of wondering if they were lying to me about fundamental aspects of my partner's life. I started dating someone recently, someone who values honesty and has no complicated history involving deception or affairs. The contrast with Jennifer's secretive behavior was refreshing. Final update. 8 months later. 8 months since I sent those DNA results, and this story has reached its natural conclusion. Everyone has settled into the reality created by their choices. Jennifer's situation never improved significantly. Tyler's involvement with Lily remained sporadic, and his support contributions remained unreliable. She adapted to single motherhood, but the isolation and financial difficulties became permanent features of her new life. Her attempts to rebuild her social circle had only partial success. The deception had created a reputation that followed her in community settings. People remembered the paternity fraud even if they didn't actively avoid her. Jennifer's family offered basic support, but the relationships remained distant. The shame and anger of being deceived never completely faded. Family gatherings were cordial but not warm. Her career stabilized at a lower level than before. She remained employed, but opportunities for advancement were limited. The time demands of single parenting and the previous workplace disruptions had lasting effects. 6 months ago, Jennifer's friend contacted me one final time, asking if I would contribute to Lily's future expenses like education or medical needs. The friend emphasized that Lily was innocent and deserved support independent of paternity issues. My response was clear. Lily's needs were the biological father's responsibility. Tyler had created financial obligations when he decided to have an affair with a married woman. Those obligations belonged to him, not to the man he helped deceive. Apparently, Jennifer accepted that I wouldn't be involved in Lily's life in any capacity. The friend reported that Jennifer was focusing on building stability with the resources available to her and Tyler. Tyler's pattern of unreliability continued, but Jennifer adapted her expectations accordingly. She stopped depending on his consistency and built her life around what she could control. Last month, I learned through social media that Jennifer had started dating someone new, a single father who understood the challenges of blended families. Whether that relationship would develop into something stable remained to be seen. Lily was over a year old now and developing normally despite the complicated circumstances of her origin. She would grow up knowing her biological father was inconsistent but occasionally present. My life had moved forward completely. I was in a serious relationship with someone who valued honesty and had no history of deception. We were discussing marriage and potentially starting a family based on truth, not lies. The contrast between my current relationship and my marriage with Jennifer was striking. No secret phone calls, no mysterious schedule changes, no wondering if they were telling me the truth about basic facts. I learned to trust my instincts when something seemed off instead of accepting convenient explanations. I also learned that some betrayals are too fundamental to be forgiven or overlooked. The DNA test results didn't destroy Jennifer's life. Her choices destroyed her stable situation. The test results just prevented me from being manipulated into supporting those choices indefinitely. Jennifer wanted to maintain her marriage security while pursuing her affair excitement. She wanted to raise her affair baby with my financial support while keeping Tyler available for emotional satisfaction. Reality doesn't work that way. Choices have consequences and deception eventually comes out. Tyler wanted the thrill of an affair without the responsibility of being a dedicated father. He got exactly what he chose, a baby he sees sporadically and financial obligations that strain his lifestyle. I wanted honesty and commitment in my marriage. When I discovered they were missing, I chose truth over comfortable lies. The DNA test results sent by mail weren't revenge, they were information sharing. Jennifer's family deserved to know they'd been celebrating and supporting a child built on lies about her origin. Everyone deserved to know the truth about what Jennifer was capable of and what she'd already done. It's not revenge, it's the plain truth. Jennifer and Tyler thought they could maintain their deception indefinitely. They thought I would never question Lily's paternity or investigate suspicious circumstances. They were wrong. The truth came out and everyone had to face reality. Jennifer learned that affair partners don't automatically become reliable life partners, that pregnancy doesn't guarantee commitment from men who've already proven themselves unfaithful. Tyler learned that making babies is easier than consistently raising them, that exciting affairs become boring obligations when confronted with real parenting responsibilities. Lily will grow up understanding that choices have consequences and that honesty matters in relationships. I learned that protecting myself from deception isn't cruel or vindictive, it's necessary and appropriate. Sometimes the truth is the most powerful response available. Jennifer and Tyler bet on my ignorance and acceptance of lies. They lost that bet completely. Everyone got exactly what their actions deserved. Jennifer wanted the stability of marriage while enjoying her affair. She got single motherhood with an unreliable co-parent. Tyler wanted the excitement without the responsibility. He got legal obligations he can't escape but consistently tries to avoid. I wanted a family built on honesty. I got my freedom back and the opportunity to build something real with someone trustworthy. Lily, though innocent, will grow up knowing the truth about her origins rather than living in a lie that would eventually shatter anyway. The consequences spread exactly as they should have. The deception couldn't be maintained forever, and when it collapsed, everyone had to deal with the reality they'd created. 8 months later, the dust has settled. Jennifer continues managing single motherhood with Tyler's sporadic involvement. Her life is harder than it would have been, but those are consequences she created through her choices. Tyler continues being unreliable, proving that the man who'll help deceive a husband isn't suddenly going to become a pillar of responsibility. My life has moved into a better place, free from deception and full of genuine relationships built on trust. The male DNA results weren't an act of cruelty. They were truth delivered to people who deserved to know it. Jennifer's family had been celebrating a lie. Our friends had been supporting a deception. Everyone involved deserved to know what they were actually dealing with. The aftermath wasn't my responsibility to manage. I didn't create the situation. I simply refused to continue living in it. Some people said I was too harsh, that I should have tried to work things out, that Lily needed a father figure regardless of biology. Those people don't understand that raising a child built on lies, with a mother who deliberately deceived me and a biological father she chose through infidelity, isn't noble. It's being a participant in an ongoing fraud. The clean break was the only honest option. Jennifer and Tyler created Lily together through their affair. They get to deal with the consequences together. I get to move forward without being trapped in their deception. That's not revenge or cruelty. That's simply refusing to be manipulated into living someone else's lie. And that's exactly where this story ends.